Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. This is Pete's Premium Parlay Show for College Football Week 2. College Football Week 3, NFL Week 2. Last week was the first parlay of my shows this year, and that one lied. It was a shitty parlay. You know, what can I say? But all right, this is one down. That's fine. Try to get them again this week. This week, pretty interesting week. If you watch the show with Brent from BetDSI, there's a lot of sharp sides this week, a lot of sharp public splits this week. So, a nice basket of things to pick from. There were a lot of borderline picks for me. And in the end, I'm going to go with 7 legs to the parlay. I'm going to do a round robin of 4, 5, and 6, and 7. And again, I calculate all the odds here using the parlay calculator, round robin parlay calculator at the SBR Tools site. And the odds I use, of course, are always BetDSI odds currently when I shoot. And I'm going to use just one NFL pick this week, and I'm going to use 6 college picks, and a lot of that is relying pretty heavily on Brent's recommendations. So just hail in the sharp action here, man. Hope Brent can come through for me this weekend and put me nicely up ahead. All right, let's start things off. College football. Sides that I wanted, that I almost took but didn't take. First one, Boise State minus 16.5. Previewed that game with Tony George from Tony George Sports, and he made a compelling argument from Boise State. I could easily see them coming in here and doing the same thing as BYU did to UConn, just blowing them out, but decided against it. But that was a borderline pick. And then Oregon, previewed it with Indian Cowboy, made a very compelling case for Oregon minus 43. Now it's 43.5. Would love to take him. Could easily see him running up the score on this one. Never taking the foot off the gas and winning by 52 or something like that. Decided against it. Then also Georgia. I was liking Georgia earlier in the week. I previewed it with Al McMorty. Al McMorty likes Georgia, and now they're all the way up to minus 7 at BetDSI. Maybe if it's still been at 5, maybe I would have taken Georgia there. Minus 7, decided to pass. That one was borderline. And then Texas, previewed that game with, I forgot who I previewed it with. I think it was Joe Duffy, but I said I liked Texas. He said he liked Texas. Very tempting at plus 7, minus 105. I think that's probably a good bet. That was really borderline, but at the last minute, I said, fuck it, I'll leave it out. All right, so the college picks that I am going to take. First of all, West Virginia. I'm going to take him plus 3. Previewed that game with Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. He's given us 2 winners already in his recommended picks this week. He likes West Virginia. He liked him at plus 3.5. Brent told me that was also a sharp side at 3.5. Now it's down to 3, but I'll include it on this one. I liked it as well when I previewed it with Steve. I said that was what I liked. That's what he liked. Everything matched up. So West Virginia plus 3 is going to be one of them. Then I previewed Central Florida and Missouri with Tony George, and he likes Missouri. And just hearing what he had to say about it, doing my own little research on it, I said maybe the over might be a good play as well. Tony George said he agreed with that. It was 54, now it's 54.5. So that's going to be one of the plays. I hope that's not the only loser, because that is not backed up by any sharp opinion, just sort of my opinion. Tony George sort of agreed. So over 54.5 in UCF, Missouri. Then straight from the mouth of Brent, we're going to take 4 sharp sides straight from the mouth of Brent. The first one, Minnesota TCU over. He said that he got action on it at 48. I did my own little background check on that game, and I agree with that one. Now it's 49.5, so I'll include that. Northern Illinois, minus 10. Brent said he got sharp action on Northern Illinois, minus 9.5. I looked into that, willing to include it at minus 10. Then Rutgers. Interesting. Brent said that he got sharp action on Rutgers at plus 3.5, and he said he got 2 groups on Rutgers, and I think it was down at 3 when I did the call with him. Now it's back up to 3.5, so not exactly sure. Someone must have bet on Penn State. But if 2 sharp groups came in on Rutgers, and Rutgers, very impressively beat Washington State in week 1. Penn State has covered both of their games, though, so far this year. But Rutgers plus 3.5, 2 sharp groups on them. I'll take that one. That's going to be my next one. And then Texas State. Brent said that he got 3 different sharp groups on Texas State, all at over 10, though. They were all like, 11, 10.5, blah, blah, blah. But now it's 9.5, plus 9.5, minus 101. So that was borderline, but 3 different sharp groups. I'm trusting Brent on this one, and I will include Texas State plus 9.5, minus 101 as my 6th pick. So that's it for college. West Virginia plus 3, Missouri over 54.5, Minnesota TCU over 49.5, Northern Illinois minus 10, Rutgers plus 3.5. Those are all minus 110 lines, and then Texas State plus 9.5, minus 101. And then in NFL, a lot of borderline picks. In the end, I'm only going to go with one of them. I was kind of liking Arizona minus 2, but the Capright previewed the game with, like the Giants. Then Brent told me the Sharps came in at -1.5. So tempted to take Arizona -2, but in the end, just decided to leave it off. I also like the Arizona Giants over, but Brent said he got sharp action on the under at 44.5, 43.5. Now it's 42.5. I was thinking the over was a good bet, but because of the sharp action that Brent got, fine, I'll leave it alone. Thought about taking the Titans. Everyone seems to be, all the cappers seem to be on the Cowboys, but Brent told me he got sharp action on Tennessee. And I'm kind of liking Whisenhunt and his effect on Jake Locker and everyone else. They were -3, -125. That was a borderline pick. Last minute decided not to. Personally, I'm also liking the under in New Orleans, Cleveland. Saints were 2-6 over/under on the road last year, and they had a bad defensive game last week. So, presumably they're going to come in and try to, reestablish their defense. Cleveland will probably try to limit possessions, keep the ball out of Brees' hands. I'm kind of liking the under 47.5. Just didn't include it. No real reason. I was also kind of leaning towards Carolina, -2.5. Brent said he got sharp action both ways, laying off of it. Rams +6, very tempting. Rams under 37, very tempting. Could have taken either of those. They were borderline, not going to include them. Seattle -6, Seattle over 44, very tempting as well. Last minute decided not to include them. Houston, Oakland under 40. Troy West from allplayswin.com agreed with that one. That would be my lean. Line's gone up a bit, not exactly sure why. Decided to lay off it. And then Philly and Indianapolis. Joe Duffy made a great, from offshoreinsiders.com, made a great argument for the under at 50, well, it was 53.5 then, now it's 54. And we did see last year, when in certain situations, Philly would go under their very high total, and I'm thinking that might be the case here. Monday night game, maybe the public piles on the over. I'm kind of liking the under 54. I might bet that one, borderline including it, but decided to stay off it. The one NFL pick I am going to take is Buffalo. When this line came out, I didn't understand why Buffalo was such a small favorite. Then the line went the other direction, right? Miami was the favorite. Previewed the game with Joe Duffy. He agreed with me. He liked Buffalo. Then I talked to Brent. Brent said that Sharps did come in on Buffalo at +1.5. So that pretty much sealed it for me. Right now they're a pick 'em at BetDSI. So that is going to be the NFL pick that I'm going to include. Pick 'em -110. Buffalo Bills. All right, so that's 7 picks this week, 7 legs of the parlay. I'm going to do round robins of 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s. That's a base of $1.56. So overall, that's risking $99.84 to win $2,197. If 5 wins about 40. If 6 wins, it's still a big week. And that's Pete's Premium Parlay. That's my parlay for college football Week 3, NFL Week 2. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next week.